The Imagine More Success radio show is the all about you show with successful entrepreneurs and business experts sharing their stories and powerful takeaways while providing you with tips, tools, tactics, and a free weekly gift to help you thrive. Your hosts for the Imagine More Success radio show are the best-selling authors, Cindy Hendricks, a certified business consultant, and Thomas Hides, a certified world-class public speaking coach. Check out the Imagine More Success radio show at imaginemoresuccess.net because now's the time to realize your dreams and to imagine more success. Hey, we want to welcome you to the Imagine More Success radio show today. We are having our Love Week, the same way that the Discovery Channel has Shark Week. We like to have Love Week every year in February. We do it in the same time frame as Valentine's Day. So usually you'll hear this show before and during and after Valentine's Day. And every single year, we try to sneak in 2 or 3 other weeks typically as well. Unlike Shark Week, we try to have Love Week like maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year. So this particular year, I think it's really important for us to spend some time with that topic. Cindy, what do you think?
Well, I think it's very interesting that you compared our Love Weeks to Shark Week.
Yeah, it's the same amount of anticipation, I think. And I think Shark Week's usually in the summer, but it's not that the messaging is the same, but the level of excitement is the same and the anticipation.
Okay, you saved that one, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I think the whole world needs more love right now.
Yeah, and that seems to be the same idea that our guest that's going to be on a little bit later with us has as well. Today, we're going to be featuring Maria Romano. She is a favorite of the show. She's one of my favorite people, and she is back on the speaker circuit. She's making the rounds both on Zoom and even a few in-person events that are scheduled and coming up. She had a huge win last night. A really wonderful introduction of a relatively new talk of hers that discusses love and business. So today we're going to really spend some time talking about love and relationships. And as a bonus for today, we're also going to spend time talking about love within your business. She's got a really cool name of her concepts that she has utilized in order to become extraordinarily successful in multiple industries. And her concept is called Love Your Way to the Top. And it's something we're going to be discussing. So I want to take a moment and tell you a little bit about her. Maria is the CEO and founder of True Love Knots. She is a professional minister in Las Vegas where she has performed over 3,000 wedding ceremonies. She has in the past been the owner and CEO and founder of an extraordinarily successful rent-a-car business in Las Vegas, which had a humongous revenue. She was extraordinarily successful in that business. She and her husband, Frank, then transferred all of their knowledge into yet another business. We're extraordinarily successful there as well in the gaming industry. And about, I'd say almost 10 years ago now, she started to move into the coaching sector where she's helping people find true love in their life. And so many people have these problems where they can't get back in the dating game because maybe they've gone through a really bad breakup or they're really out of practice and they need some counseling, they need some coaching, they need some direction. She's a wonderful person. We want to go ahead and welcome her to the show, Maria Romano.
Well, hello, everybody. How are we doing today?
Great. How are you? Glad you could join us today.
You know what? When you were talking about the sharks, I think, I want to just be a big barracuda and love me everybody in the ocean. Love me some everybody. I just eat everyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if your dating world looks more like Shark Week than Love Week, Maria would be a really great person for you to connect with. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. Maria, you've got a really wonderful story about how you began the process of coaching and how you started connecting with people, helping them find true love in their life. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Yes, Thomas, when that journey started for me, I've been a widow for 8 years, almost 9 now. And that journey started for me finding love probably a couple of years after Frank passed away. And a lot of, I think, women and men, they go through the process of, are they ready? Do they want to find love? And it's difficult because you're comfortable with the person that you had. So to even leap into the dating world, forget about being intimate, but just kissing somebody that you don't know in an intimate way is different. So it took me quite a bit of time. I was kicking and fighting and screaming before I said, okay, I think I'm ready to go find love again. And when I got back into the dating world, I was listening to all of my friends that were married. And
With
they
all
did
the great advice about dating.
right, all the great, wonderful advice that was so antiquated because it wasn't relevant to today and also relevant to the where I have been in my life. When in your 20s and even 30s, life is different, and what you're looking for in the way of a partner is so different than what you're looking for in the way of a partner when you hit 40s, 50s, and 60s and above. So when I got out back there in the dating world, and I made every mistake you can think of, with the exception of giving somebody money, but I had my fair share of interesting people that I dated, and also one interesting relationship. And that's when I realized that, and I had a good friend of mine who really, she kind of helped me through this whole coaching program, because she started dating when they used to use the newspapers. I don't know if you're familiar, Sydney or Thomas. Years ago, you'd put an
Yeah.
ad in the paper to meet somebody.
Promotional
I mean,
ads,
it's
that's
kind of
right.
crazy, but it's true.
What's a newspaper?
A regular newspaper. And what's that? Oh gosh, thank you.
Exactly.
Okay, I got that. But it's true. And she kind of helped me through the process because she's also a family marriage therapist. And that's when that light bulb moment came on, that I realized, gosh, there are so many people like me that really don't know what to do, how to get back there. And also, you need to be savvy. Just as you need to be savvy in your own business, you need to be savvy in the dating realm again. Because when you have more exposure and you're at a certain age, you want to be able to spot the red flags. I just spoke to someone,
Absolutely.
right? I spoke to a woman this morning, and it's interesting because there's so many women just like this woman I spoke to that they don't even know how to operate a computer. And I wish I can give people a class someplace, but I can't, right?
That's probably the next thing that you need to offer, because it's so very true. There is, say, like a technological barrier for some people who aren't, maybe, even if they know how to use the tech, maybe they haven't used the tech before when it comes to dating or utilizing the apps, or they feel like that added layer gives them some sort of distance between what they're used to with dating and what is kind of necessary at this point in order to utilize. So there's that one thing that kind of stands between people and getting started with getting back into the dating field. Now, when it comes to coaching, sometimes people feel kind of embarrassed about talking about this. This can be an embarrassing topic for people. What would you tell someone who feels embarrassed about reaching out for help with dating?
Well, there are a lot of successful people that utilize coaches for many different areas of their life. But also, yesterday, I was listening to another dating podcast, and even people that have relationships, even Barack and Michelle Obama have a relationship coach they go to. And if you listen to anybody, Tom Brady, he has a coach helping him, right? Do you think he's gotten to
Yeah,
where he was?
as a couple.
And
As a
also as a
couple.
couple too, I'm sure with his wife. But also there are just many people out there. If you listen to Drew Barrymore, she'll talk about how she's used a coach as well because she tried to date online and it was a little different. So nobody should be embarrassed. What a coach is going to do is give you their best advice, the best practices, so you can get onto the path of whatever you're looking to do in a way that's efficient and a lot more quicker, and in the dating realm, a lot less heartache.
Well,
Yeah,
what? I think that's such a good thing that you brought up with the coaching because people get so caught up in their business life and in their extracurricular activities of, nonprofit volunteering. And so we tend to get off track with our best, most important relationships, don't you think, Maria?
That's true. And, Sydney, it is true when you think about it because people just kind of put it aside. And it's interesting because I speak to many people that say, well, I'm just going to meet somebody organically. And that's great when we're out there able to socialize. right now, organic, there's very little ways you can meet people organically. And it's a matter of taking the time. It's just like looking for a job. If you're very serious and you want to meet somebody, you need to set aside time on your daily planner, whatever it is. And if you're going to work the dating apps, you need to work the dating apps, but you need to commit. But, it starts really, you talk about, dating, it really starts with yourself and really getting in touch with who you are, just like you would with anything else that you're going to do in life, whether you're going to go on a diet, right? Change your eating habits, you're going to venture off into a new occupation, or you're getting ready to write a book, right? You need to make sure that this is what you want to do and that you're ready for it. And you need to set time aside to be able to do it, take action.
So, a lot of times, like Cindy was saying, people don't even have this really scheduled into their life plan. Or if they do, they don't really have a roadmap on how they're going to do it. Because if they had a roadmap and they were following it, they may already be in a relationship or, have the type of relationship that they want. Tell us a little bit about your concept of using a roadmap to find love.
And that is true, Thomas. You're so right. People are reluctant, especially the challenges are with people that are in the professional world. They figure they're in the professional world. They don't need a roadmap. I thought the same thing. Wrong.
Because you were around so many people.
Right, the roadmap.
Is that why? Because you were interacting with so many people. Is that why?
Uh, Start again. I'm sorry.
Well, did you think you didn't need a roadmap then because you were around so many people? Is that you felt like you were meeting a lot of people, or?
No, I thought I knew it all. I figured I'm in business. I interview people. I thought I knew it all.
Okay.
To be very honest. Guess what? I didn't know it all, because the roadmap you use for finding love is a lot different than what you use if you're interviewing somebody, maybe to work on your team, or maybe you're getting ready to start a diet. Completely different roadmap, right? The only difference is you need to make sure that you're on the right road and you're taking the time. And that's where I develop a roadmap for clients, and I use myself, where you start with actually yourself. And like I said, that self concept, self-love, going through, what are the attributes that I have that stand out, that really people like, and also where do I need to work on with myself? Because we all have some bad habits. And
Well, don't you also feel, Maria, that when you are a second person helping someone find their way in the love arena, that you would be so much more objective than the person looking, and you would see all the things that other person couldn't see to be able to help them?
Yes, it's just like sitting in a car, right? And you have two sets of eyes instead of one set of eyes. And yes, and I like to give clients an objective viewpoint, because I'm not just helping them get into finding somebody, they find that perfect person, but also when they find that perfect person, making sure that they're on the right track, that they're not overlooking the red flags, because that's what happens. That dopamine kicks in, and we're on this love high, and it's sometimes difficult to stop and say, you know what, this person you think is great, however, you're not noticing it could be the red flag staring right at you, and that's the difference.
And that's going to be a big part of the conversation when we come back in the next segment. We're going to talk about red flags. We're going to talk about how you can go about finding love, and really how you can go about preparing yourself for the big process of bringing someone into your life when we come back with Maria Romano. We're also going to spend a little bit of time today talking about how love can influence your business for the better. So this Valentine's Day, you're going to learn about relationships with the people that you care about, as well as your relationships with your business, and we're going to make all of them better right here on the Imagine More Success radio show. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show. We're celebrating Love Week all week long. And today's guest is Maria Romano, the founder of True Love Knots. We've been having a really great conversation about how important it is to get some guidance when you are ready to bring love into your life and to find a new relationship. Maria, when we ended the last segment, we were talking about red flags, and those red flags are those things that are glaringly obvious about the other person or about something about them that should tell you right away, hey, this is the time you should be cautious. This is the time when you should maybe reconsider going any farther with this person. But like you said, we're so caught up in the beginning of a love relationship sometimes that red flag is just completely invisible to us. I mean, is that common with most of the people that you work with?
Yes, and even people that I meet that I chat with about their love life. There are many young people. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation last night with a beautiful young woman, and she was she was starting a relationship with somebody, and he would just call her. She had met him when he was here, and he lives someplace else. And then she found out because of the way he was calling her at different times, day or night, and they were video chatting, that he was married. So she was so devastated. And what happens is that she still is devastated. But what happens is you get so caught up in this fantasy of what you think the relationship is, and it really isn't. And the reality needs to set in. And there are many people, men and women, that deny what reality is. In this case, this young woman was still going through heartache because she really wanted this relationship to work out. Well, we had a little small problem. He had somebody else, right?
It's just a minor problem.
What small problem?
We need to brand those boys.
You know
And
what's
girls.
funny? You know what's great.
Cindy.
Wow, Cindy, that's funny because
Well, I've heard of that so many times. In fact, in my dating career, I think I had 3 different guys that were married but failed to mention that.
Hey,
minor oversight, apparently.
anybody listening, if you're in a relationship and you're not happy, just move on. But don't drag a third person, right?
You know what's
Exactly.
funny, Priya? One of my friends years ago referred to this guy that she had been dating as a matador, and I said, "Why do you call him a matador?" She said, "Well, he's waving a red flag," and I just ran right into it, over and over. She was,
I love
and
that.
I laughed. I thought that was just the funniest thing. Yeah. So red flags, when you see them, you can't resist them. It's probably time to do what? What would you say, Maria?
Well, when a red flag is glaring at you, and that's where you really need to sit down. We're talking about this roadmap, but you have to really list out what's important to you in a relationship. What your must-haves are, and what are your deal breakers. So, for example, if you meet somebody, and for myself, I don't want to date a smoker. Okay, that's just my
Okay.
own personal choice. And that to me is a red flag, okay, for me, because I know unfortunately what smoking does. My late husband passed away. He had issues with his heart and smoking. So I don't, it's something you have to really adhere to what's important for you. If you're looking for somebody with stability and you don't want somebody that's sleeping on someone's couch, you need to, you can, sometimes you should not make allowances. Now, I understand people are going through different situations in life, and especially now with COVID going on, a lot of people are reshuffling maybe their finances. But you can still tell if somebody's ambitious and self-sufficient. And again, when those red flags are glaring at you, that's when you need to take a step back and have somebody, as Sydney said before, is objectively giving you what the reality is, not your kids, not your friends, not your parents, because we don't listen to them. We tune them out.
Well, and even a friend, a girlfriend or a guy friend for each type of person, it's not as powerful when you bring sensitive subjects like that up. But when you have a professional saying, hey, wait a minute, this is what that red flag means. Listen up, run for the hills.
Well, that's true. And you know what? Also, a coach is not judgmental. And let's face it, we're all a little bit judgmental, maybe when it comes to our family or our friends. And they might say, gee, what was he or she thinking? I mean, is she really that naive? Right. And
Mm.
they become judgmental. And before you know it, there's a label. So when you have somebody from the outside, and really what happens is basically is confidential when somebody is a client of mine, that it's between, the client and me, what we're talking about. Now, if they choose to share it with somebody else, that's fine too. But the red flags, and like you said, sometimes they're right there, they're glaring at you, and that's when you need to run. And there are so many people that become so codependent and they're sucked into a relationship before the relationship is really happening. They sort of committed, and that's when you need to go out and effectively date with your if you could date with your heart, but date with your head too.
Great advice. Great advice. You've written a really wonderful book called Going from Just One to a Plus One, which, it's been out now, I think, what, almost a year. Is it
No,
right? No?
September it came out.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. So several months now, several people read it, giving you feedback. And what you've heard about this book has been that no matter where someone is in their journey, there's a part in there that really speaks to them. Is that because so many people have this idea, this feeling that their own personal journey in finding love is so unique that no one else has it, that they feel alone?
Well, I think we have a little feedback or something coming on. Is that me? But anyway, you know what? Everybody feels their journey is unique, right?
Yeah.
And that nobody else has experienced it. But we all have. We might have different emotions, but we all have different ways of experiencing a journey. And when I put this book together, and Thomas, you were there helping me and coaching me, is there were several parts we went through because when I got married to my late husband, I became a step parent first before we actually had a child together. So there are so many,
Mm.
and then of course that I became a widow, and then I was also I'm in the professional arena. So what it's like to date a widow or a widower, or what it's like to date somebody with children or blending families, or dating somebody that's professional. So this book has different segments of it that take you through, and it's just a great guide to give you some insight about what you need to think about when you're dating somebody that's in these different arenas. You could be somebody that's divorced and you're dating somebody that's a widow or a widower. And that's a whole different realm too that you're dealing with. So that's what the book does.
Yeah, it really gives people an idea of what the possibilities are, because possibilities both good and bad. Because I think, like so many things, when you're getting involved in dating, especially if you've been out of it a while, when you get back to it, you're going to be finding yourself in situations you never anticipated. But if you read through your book and see what's possible, both on, like I said, on the good side and the bad side, it kind of gives you a level of preparation that you don't have now and makes the future much, much easier for sure.
Well,
And Maria, how can someone get a hold of your book? Because there's so many people out there right now that could probably use your words of wisdom.
thank you, Sydney. Yes, I think people that are looking to get back in the dating world, and even if they've been in the dating world, need to read the book. It's an easy read. You can find it on Amazon, Going from Just One to a Plus One by Maria Romano. It's in, of course, paperback and digital, as well as it's in Spanish in digital right now, too.
Wonderful.
Very cool. Maria, you have a kind of a game plan for people when they want to get back to dating, where you really give them an opportunity to kind of stop, get rid of all the static, all the noise, and get back to really getting in touch and in tune with who they are and what they want. It's a really cool three-step process. Can you just kind of walk us through that and talk about the importance of each step?
Well, first of all, like I said, you need to really, the process is love, and rock yourself. Okay, but in the beginning, we go through what I call a dysfunctional detoxing, where, yeah, you need to go.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What does that mean?
Yeah, because we are all a product of our past relationships. No matter what the situation is. is we have had past relationships, and you really need to identify what worked in your relationship. And even if you're a widow or a widower, this applies too. It's not just for people that are divorced. And you need to sit down and say, okay, what worked in this relationship? And then sometimes really what didn't work. I mean, even though you could have divorced on good terms, or you lost your husband or your wife, there still were areas, shades of gray, where you really didn't like. There was some maybe personality traits, but you overlooked them. And then you take the next process and you try to look at it and what you could have done differently. Okay, because sometimes we all have a hand, especially if we've gone through a divorce, of what we could have done differently in the relationship. And then the fourth part you move into is what hand did you have in the relationship to make it better or worse? So that's the process we go through, especially if you're divorced or you come out of something that's pretty traumatic, because you can't move forward until you've shedded all those past residuals. And it's not easy all the time, because some people are still very bitter. They might have had a spouse that unfortunately there was infidelity that occurred. So there's a big trust issue. Or they might have had a partner that had issues, with some sort of like dependencies with alcohol or drugs or sex. So it's a matter of getting rid of that and understanding, making sure that when you find the next person, that you don't attract that same type of individual. And that's what seems to happen, is there's a pattern. And until you actually clear out that pattern and look at it and then work on who you are, really who you are at whatever point in life you're at, taking the hat off of being a mom, being a dad, of maybe being somebody that's a community leader, and who are you and what your likes are and dislikes, and then moving into loving yourself. Because when you get back into the dating world, you know what? Not everybody's going to be so nice.
It's going to be a school of hard knocks sometimes, right?
Yeah, you get your butt kicked. You're right, Thomas. And then, of course, when you do, just learning how to love yourself from roots to boots. And when you get out there and date, remember, it's just dating. So what I call this the rock yourself part. To just go out and have fun. This is not a commitment. It's just a date. And people rush from A to Z right away. They want to find that person. They meet somebody on a first date, and then they've in their mind already committed. And you can't do that. You just have to let water seek its own level. And what happens is you have this biological clock that's ticking for young people, because they want to get married by a certain time, because they want children.
Yeah, the expectations, right? There's a lot of artificial expectations around timing and beliefs, right?
Yes, and then what happens when you get older? You have the mortality clock that kicks in.
For sure. I'm only laughing because
it's true.
It's true.
How many people, men and women, I'm getting older, I got to find somebody today. It's like, okay, just listen. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your mother waited 9 months for you.
So true. Cool. Well, you know what? In addition to these red flags that we talked about earlier, I think the concept of be yourself, love yourself, rock yourself sounds great. Definitely, before you get out there and start interacting with other people, some really deep introspection might go a long way and really make the experience of encountering other people a lot more fun and interesting, and certainly safer as well. And I loved your concept about dysfunctional detoxing, where you can really figure out what went right and what went wrong in your past relationships, so you don't bring the bad stuff in, but you can bring in some of the good stuff from your past relationship. So we're going to continue Love Week this week on the Imagine More Success radio show. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Maria Romano. She's got a great free gift for you this week. And we're also going to talk about how love can be a positive, wonderful, happy, fulfilling, and profitable new addition to your business. Stay tuned.
But what else can we do? Tormented and torn apart. I wish I could carry your smile in my heart. For times when my life seems so low, it would make me believe what tomorrow could bring, when today doesn't really know. I'm strong, I'm sure, I'm in control.
Hey, welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show. We hope you're enjoying the music this week. We've got some new deep cuts for you. We're playing some love songs from the past that hopefully bring back some great memories. And we've been charting some really cool waters today, speaking with Maria Romano. We're talking about love in celebration of Love Week. Cindy, I know usually like I said, we have Love Week 2, 3, 4 times a year on the show. What's your favorite part about Love Week?
Well, I just love learning about how people maneuver, because I was blessed with a fabulous marriage the last time around, and I just can't imagine a lot of stuff that people go through. And I'm really thrilled that there are like people like Maria and some of our other guests that know exactly how to help people maneuver that jungle.
Yeah, for sure. Maria, we've been talking about falling in love and a little bit about dating as well, which is really, I guess that's kind of like the mechanism for getting there, right? For finding the right person and making that happen. And it's kind of a big sorting process. And while you've got all these, concepts about love, you found also that same concept kind of runs through business as well for you. So, Maria, tell us a little bit about why it's important to, I guess, find love in the business and, as you say it, love your way to the top.
Well, today, it's so, first of all, I think love is so relevant to what's going on today. It's spilling out we need it everywhere, especially since we're in these conditions right now where we're social distancing. And what's happening too is some of us are becoming a bit of a recluse in some respects, even with our businesses. And even with the people that we work with, we hide behind Zoom, right? We have so many. Mm-hmm. And when you are on Zoom, there's a lot of distractions, as we all know. So it's a matter of getting, when we get back out there into the world again and start socializing, how are we going to, what's going to happen? How are we going to reconnect with these people? So I recognized, I was sitting down thinking, that a lot of the experiences in our personal life really are very similar in our professional life. I mean, using the word love sometimes, when you say that to somebody in HR, they have a team of attorneys that are come down and attack you, right?
True.
You cannot use love in the workplace, but call it what you like. But love is important. And the topic of the talk that I debuted last night, I was so excited, is loving your way to the top. And what loving your way to the top means is extending empathy, caring, and understanding to others in a way that fits you so you can achieve the level of recognition, self-worth, and success that you desire. And doing it in a way
wow, that's
where
beautiful.
You're lifting everyone.
Yeah, can you repeat that for us, please? Loving your way to the top is?
Loving your way to the top, yes, is extending empathy, caring, and understanding to others in a way that fits you so you can achieve the level of recognition, self-worth, and success that you desire.
Okay. No, I really like that. That's incredible. Let's talk a little bit about kind of love in general. I mean, what's your thoughts about, how is love valued in the workplace?
Well, love, I personally feel that love is undervalued, and I know for sure it's definitely undervalued in the workplace. But I came across a great story that I read in a book, and I'd love to tell it to you and your listeners about what really the real value of love means.
Yeah, please.
So Dr. John Bowlby, who worked in a British orphanage after World War II, noticed that young children who lost their parents quite often died. Could you imagine this? Before the age of 2.
Wow.
Wow, yes. And these children had everything they needed. They had food, they had water, they had shelter, they had adult supervision, they had warmth. And they couldn't understand why they were dying. And Dr. Bowlby came up with an explanation, and there's been many studies done after what he also believed. And he believed these children were dying because of the lack of love from a loving parent. And their hearts were so broken because they did not have a loving connection in their life and they died. And we really need, it's just like food, water, and shelter, we need love.
Mm. It's a necessity. It's not
Oh my gosh.
just.
Yes, it is. And that's when I started looking at the concept of that if you want to be successful, you need to have love. Because if you just like food, water, and shelter, right, you need that. You need love, and you need to bring love into every area of your life. And I'm not talking romantic love, just taking a moment and looking at things differently. So that's the concept that has evolved. And I talk about there's three principles too.
So
That,
let me get this straight. You're saying that little children were dying because they didn't have love in their life, and so I mean, if you need love just to survive, you probably need love for success.
you need exactly. You need, and it's true. You do need love for success. And take a moment. Let's think about a lot of older people that pass away that don't have anybody. Dr. Vivek Murphy also noticed that he was the Surgeon General several years ago, and he noticed that there was a lot more depression, and there were people that were having a lot of health issues because they too did not have somebody in their life.
I think one of the concepts that I've heard you mention that people kind of forget is that businesses are made up of people. So if businesses are made up of people, then if people need love, businesses must need love too.
That's right. It's true. So you're right. And people, yeah, as you said, they do make up businesses. And then businesses need to extend what? Empathy, caring, and understanding to their clients and to one another.
Wow, I mean, there's a lot of managers I've met over the years who, if I don't know that they could tell you what empathy, caring, and understanding might even be. So I could see where this could be extraordinarily useful.
But that's very true, because if you just look at some of the businesses that are going out of business, of course, pre-pandemic, a lot of them, the love was lost. It was obvious in, their marketing, in their merchandise mix or services, and you could just see why they went downhill.
That's true. You're right, Cindy, because you need to be relevant about what is going on in the workplace. And as a matter of fact, one of the analogies I bring up is as you look at Neiman Marcus and Pier 1, they went out of business last year. But that's because they didn't have what we call what is a function of a business, right? And the function of business is to acquire and retain clients. And if you don't acquire and retain clients, you don't have a business.
Well, that's true with the employees too. And if you don't love your employees, they're sure as heck not going to stay.
It is so interesting you bring that up, because the three principles that I talk about that people can implement into their life and they can be more successful and profitable is falling in love with your clients. And that's just not your external clients. And you're right, it's your internal clients, the people that help make you a success. And then, of course, falling in love with your experience and falling in love with your success. So you hit the nail right on the head.
Well, I've seen it. I mean, I started working for Casual Corner probably from the womb so many years ago. And I don't know if anybody remembers it, but Casual Corner was a fantastic company. And they were sold to, when the owner and president passed away, eventually the business was sold to a French company, I think it was, and they just went under, and the love just wasn't there.
Yeah, well, I remember Casual Corner. It was a great store to shop in, so you're not dating yourself. I've been there. And that is something that is so true. And there are so many easy processes that you can implement by just listening, right? Just, you listen to your clients, because if you don't listen, you're not going to get a sale, right? It's like a bad date. You've been on a bad date. Now, Cindy, you haven't been on a bad date, but I've been on a bad date. I don't know about Thomas.
Well, I haven't been on one for a long, long time, but I had my share in my youth.
Right. And you go on a date and all the person does is talk about themselves, right?
Or their old girlfriends or ex-wives.
Whether, and you know what, you think there's a
Yeah.
second date? No. Well, the same thing as if you don't listen to, let's talk about just your, your internal clients and your external clients. So if you really want to engage and you really need to listen, because when you listen, they feel like you value them. And in the realm of on the internal side with your internal clients, if they feel that you really understand them and they feel that, then what's going to happen is they're going to be more productive. Maybe they'll collaborate more, so you have some unity as well as creativity. So that's, one area. And one of the things I talked about last night, and some people never realize the concept, and you've heard of the book of the 5 languages of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you just go to the website, Dr. Gary Chapman, and I just love the concept. If you just download the quiz, the 5 languages of love, and you give it to the people, all take the test together, the people that you work with, or the people, the coaches, and you get to understand a little better how they want to receive love. I mean, by recognition and praise. So one person, Thomas, might want to receive love by the way of you telling everybody in front of his peers. And, Sydney, you might want to receive love because you want time off with your family, maybe instead of, money. So when you understand how your team and each individual wants to receive praise, recognition, and love, you have a better understanding of them. So again, they feel like you value them and they feel like you understand them. And that's when you have a cohesive team coming together. So that it starts you right with the people that you work with, and then you use the same process with your clients as well.
I love that. This listening goes a long way, right? I mean, do you think that that's a good idea for Valentine's Day week and for Love Week that we're talking about listening? I mean, what's the value of that?
Well, okay, so let's look at it this way. Would it be better or worse, right, for you and your partner if you extended empathy, caring, and understanding to him or her? Or would it be better or worse if you actually listen to your partner? Right? I mean, come on, how many people have an argument with their partner where they say, "You listen to me so much, I'm so sick and tired of you."
I don't think that's ever been a part of any argument ever.
Right? Right. So those that one area makes a difference. It truly does.
Yeah, for sure. I've really enjoyed us having this conversation today about love in business, because it's really funny. It might seem like it's kind of a wild concept, but it just seems to make sense, right? I mean, we're talking about finding clients and retaining them and turning them into loyal customers and how important it is. That's what everyone's talking about, but no one's talking about that fundamental concept that really brings people together, and using that as a part of the tools in your tool chest in order to really do that. So I'm loving this today, and I hope everyone's enjoying our Love Week as we continue it on the Imagine More Success radio show. We've talked about how you can bring love into the business aspect of your life, how you can go about finding love in your life, and we're going to continue the conversation with Maria Romano when we come back. If you'd like to check out some past episodes of the Imagine More Success show, go to imaginemoresuccess.net, where you can get a free weekly gift from every single episode. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can get started and make the big shift, especially during this time of quarantines and COVID-19 and government shutdowns, go to themillionairemindsetcourse.com, where you can start the journey and dip your toe in and get yourself prepared for really moving to the next step in your financial success. So please stay tuned. welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show. It's the All About You show, and we've got Maria Romano with us today as we're celebrating Love Week, and it continues. And we're coming up on Valentine's Day. We've got sometimes it's a lot of pressure, right, Cindy? It's a lot of pressure sometimes with Valentine's Day for a lot of people. A lot of people feel a lot of pressure.
It really is. It's kind of like Christmas of the heart.
Oh, that's a lovely way of putting it. I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes you're searching for that perfect gift, that perfect chocolate, which quite honestly, for some of us, any chocolate is the perfect chocolate. And if that's one little bit of Valentine's Day and Love Week that could continue year round, chocolate would be a really cool thing. Maybe some wine, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
That seems to make people smile no matter what week it is you're celebrating.
Hey, you had me at chocolate. That's
right.
Good Pinot Noir. I'm there.
I just threw the wine in just as a little added bonus for you today. So we're on today with the CEO and founder of TrueLoveKnots.com. She's Maria Romano. She wants to encourage you to be yourself, love yourself, and rock yourself so that you can go from being just one to finding your plus one. And Maria, we have hit on all sorts of topics today. We've been going over relationships, some really wonderful relationship advice from you. Also, some ideas about how business can be improved if you add some love to it. Let's take a jump into the now, though, and let's talk about what can you do to make Valentine's Day really special?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, there's a couple of things. Eat plenty of chocolate. Absolutely. There's a few things you can do. First of all, we think of Valentine's Day in couples. So let's first move into the single people, because I don't want the single people to be overlooked. And I don't want them to feel that they need to have somebody in your life, because really what's important, it's not what you have in your life, it's who you have in your life that matters. So if you don't have somebody, you know who's important in your life that matters? You. So give yourself some self-love. Make yourself a great dinner. Go out if you're able to go out. Maybe pick up a dinner and bring it home. Pour yourself a great, glass of wine or champagne, and really treat yourself and indulge. And spend time taking Post-its around the house and lifting yourself up. If you want to go spend time with friends, I say that's great. But you know what? Sometimes reflecting and being by oneself, especially on Valentine's Day, by yourself gives you an opportunity to dig deep about who you are and what you're looking for, and then just write down what type of relationship you want. Put it in an envelope and put it away, and then take it out every so often and read it. So these are for my single people out there. You don't worry that it's just not, Valentine's Day is not about love with couples. It's about self-love. And moving into the couples side, there's some fun things you can do. You can download, there's a couple of companies that have scavenger hunts. Just go online and look, and you can actually have a scavenger hunt at home with you and your loved one, because a lot of us are not going out. As well as we know you can go to parks and you can have picnics, but also take the time to sit down and write either a letter to each other, and then the both of you exchange it.
Oh, wow.
Is another great
that.
thing. Yes. Or also just 3 things that made you fall in love with that person, and then exchange it, and you read it to each other.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow, I love that. Maria, now that's romantic. I love that. That's really cool.
Yes, and a hint for the guys who are of few words, you could always put, you love the fact that your lady watches sports with you.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's a great one. Poor ladies just got tortured with the Super Bowl. Sorry.
I know, huh?
And
You know what? Maybe that's why they put the Super Bowl first and Valentine's Day not long thereafter.
And that's why they have all the entertainment, is so the women will keep watching.
That's true. And also, if you have families, because some of us, we have our family with us all the time, so we're not able to have a sitter. So that scavenger hunt thing is something fun that you can even conjure up with your family, getting the kids involved, and you can hide different things around the house and give them clues. So there's so many different ways you can even incorporate it with your family as well.
It's really beautiful. Really, really great advice. Maria, I wanted to jump back to that conversation we were having about putting some love into business, and because I think it's a really wonderful concept that you've come up with and that you're sharing in your work. Let's talk a little bit about one of your other concepts, which is falling in love with the experience. Falling in love with your experience? What exactly does that mean, and why is it important for someone to do that?
Well, falling in love with your experience means creating a pleasurable and memorable experience for your client. And that is important. You know, when I got involved in the wedding industry, and the same, I was in the rent-a-car industry for many years. You know, being your clients are important because, again, we go back to if you don't have clients, you don't have a business. And how they experience your product or services says a lot also about you, as well as the team that you have behind you. And it's important to be able to deliver an experience that the client is going to remember for a very long time in a pleasurable way.
For sure.
Right. You don't want a client to remember something in a way that, oh, I'll never go back to that company again. We've all had experiences where they were not the best experiences.
Yeah, and statistically, people are more likely to remember negative experiences than they are positive ones. So you have to work sometimes twice as hard to make sure that people have those positive experiences when they are interacting with your business. Because just because I guess the way the human mind works, we're more focused on the negative ones, or we remember them better. Tell us about a really memorable, kind of pleasurable experience that you had that sticks with you, that really encapsulates this idea of bringing love into business and creating those pleasurable, memorable experiences.
Well, for myself, I'll never forget when 25 years ago I was in New York City, and I wanted to so go to the Waldorf Astoria. And I took a cab there, and when I pulled up, I got out, and there was a red carpet. I thought it was for me, right? And then when I was walking up the steps, there was a gentleman on top of the steps, and he had on a beautiful top. He had black hat, a nice overcoat, pair of boots, and he opened the door, and he said, "Welcome to the Waldorf Astoria." Well, I felt like, oh my gosh, this man was waiting for me. And it wasn't that he just opened the door and he said those words. It's how he said those words. There was an authenticity there, like he was welcoming, and his body language. And that experience I'll always remember. And again, he wasn't just going through the motions. He was feeling it. He was enjoying what he's doing. And that's what it's all about, is enjoying what you're doing and remembering that your clients, okay, you want them to have a pleasurable, memorable experience. And it starts with everybody that has a hand in your business, whether they see the client or not, really contributes to your client having a pleasurable and memorable experience.
That's
Maria,
beautiful.
It is beautiful. One of the things I think our listeners would probably like to know is, how do you work with the client, and what can they expect when they call you?
Oh, working with me?
Yes. How do they work with you? Do you work on the phone, on Zoom, on Skype? And then what's your process?
Well, yes, I do work. I work with people all over the U.S. right now, and it could be anywhere in the world. What we do is I work via Zoom or video chat. And if you are out of state, you need to be familiar with Zoom, or I can maybe walk you through the process. But we work with clients. I work with clients together. We actually sit down together on Zoom, and we go through maybe the client's profile that they have on the dating sites, and we look at the profile in its entirety. We look at the people that are reaching out to that person and how they're responding to each other and how they can read profiles. So it's sort of like a match online matchmaker, but I'm online with them, working with them.
Great. And how can they connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me at maria@trueloveknots.com, and it's TRUELOVE and KNOTS. So it's trueloveknots.com.
Great. And Thomas mentioned you had a free gift for our listeners.
Actually, I have a bonus gift for your listeners. I have two things for your listeners.
Yay.
Sweet, thank you.
So they can email me, and telling me that they heard about me on your show, and I will provide them with a 30-minute complimentary coaching call. Now, whether they're in a relationship, if they need a little assistance or looking for one, and giving them a little bit of a roadmap, but also I will send them a PDF of my book. So that's the
Nice.
other
Oh,
special
sweet.
bonus, because it's Valentine's Day week and we want to continue to spread love.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. If you're single this Valentine's Day weekend, go ahead and download that book and enjoy it, because there's so much humor in it, funny stories, and a lot of really great advice, and really some wonderful inspiration that gives you an idea, like I said, of what's possible for you in your relationship, in your love life, and what you can find. And I just love it. It's very, very inspirational, really fun, great, relaxing read, and yeah, it's
And you
hard
mentioned,
to put down.
yes, and you mentioned to email you. Do you want to let the listeners know how to email you?
Maria@trueloveknots.com.
Great. Well,
Beautiful.
I can tell you that Maria is an amazing person who is very successful at what she does. And if you're interested in finding that special someone or helping you to maneuver the someone that you're with, she's your gal.
Maria, obviously the name of our show is Imagine More Success, and that's a big part of what we do here. You have a recipe for success that you like to share with your clients as well. Walk us through kind of your ideas about it and some of your process.
Yes, success quickly is a process. You need to identify what success means to you. For some people, it might be monetary. For others, it's freedom to have more time with their family. And then there's a 3-part process that you go through. It's called developing a routine, continuing to create, and also to collaborate. So a routine is you need to have a daily routine in your business like you do in your personal life. Dotting all the I's and crossing the T's. And
Kind of creating those workflows.
Right, a workflow. And then when you have the time, you can move into continuing to create a better experience maybe for your clients, working with your team to see how you can always be relevant on the cutting edge so that you're not left behind. Like, Cindy said, there's a lot of people that didn't really, because of what happened with COVID, they weren't able to pivot. So you always want to be ahead of the game. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just a matter of creativity. Then the last part is going to really catapult you to success, and that's collaborating, getting involved in a great mastermind group. Because when you have several sets of eyes that have been in business that can guide you and you can learn from each other, it's so beneficial.
Yeah, I love that. The mastermind group is something so many people have attributed their success to, that and the entrepreneurs are always talking about it because of Think and Grow Rich, the book Think and Grow Rich. That's really, a really important concept in there.
Right, Napoleon Hill, right, because he was friends with Andrew Carnegie, and Andrew Carnegie attributes his success to his mastermind group, and he allowed Napoleon Hill access to the people part of his mastermind group. So that's where this collaboration comes in, and they can get you to where you want to be. Again, it's just like having a coach in your love life, right?
For sure.
You get from A to Z with a lot less heartache, and maybe not in the business world, maybe not spending that much money or time, knowing because you have other people that might have been there that can guide you.
Absolutely. And whether you want to find success in your business life, in your personal life, or your love life, we want to encourage you to reach out and look for someone to help you. Definitely reach out to Maria Romano at trueloveknots.com. Definitely check out past episodes of the Imagine More Success show at imaginemoresuccess.net. And in order for you to get your start on your pathway to making money, go to themillionairemindsetcourse.com. We want to thank you so much for joining us this week on Love Week on the Imagine More Success show. And we want to wish you all the very best, and for you to always realize your dreams and to imagine more success.
Make it come